Hello, hello. I am Ben Pick, and thank you for joining me in Running to Write, where I used to give questionable writing advice through writing metaphors, but I've since switched over to doing productivity sprints. And if you're here, I hope you're ready to be productive as well. It is a Monday night. I am running late because I've been trying to troubleshoot my computer for the 1000th time. Linux Mint is not very easy to use, but I think I have a command that allows me to grant access to the camera using LibreWolf. It was a whole ordeal. I think I have all settled out now, and hopefully I can spend the next week trying to figure out things. If not, I'll have to do what I did before, where I have Opera running the video, but then having LibreWolf running these guys, the videos themselves, because Opera did grant me access to the camera, to the microphone, and everything, but it doesn't grant me access to play MP4s, which is why I had to have another instance of LibreWolf up and running, so that way I could play the videos themselves while I am doing the productivity sprint. And yes, Richard, I am continually having Linux issues. I don't know. Linux is not very user-friendly, and a lot... Kudos to ChatGPT, because I have spent the past hour trying to debug this thing, and nothing was really coming up. Typed some things into ChatGPT, and it gave me the answer that I was looking for. Everything else is kind of like, this might work, but it's from 3 years ago. It's a random command. Essentially, I had a lot of... I don't know, it's weird. I had the permissions displayed and set, and I could view them, and it said access was granted to StreamYard for my microphone and camera, and yet it didn't actually do anything. So I went into the settings within the browser, changed some things, and... Rather, I didn't change anything, but I checked to make sure that certain things were set to true, certain things were set to false. I ran this one command, which might have solved everything. It's this flatpak override. And I'm going to need to save that, so that way I can handle it in the future. So I'm just going to set something up really quickly, and then I'll be good to go. So, oops, I did not want to allow notifications, but whatever. So if LibreWolf... But anyways, how is your week been starting off, everyone who's here? Let's see here. Richard, as always, thank you for being here, and thanks for DST. This is at 10 p.m. for you. Well, Richard, I have bad news for you, because daylight savings time is ending for us on Sunday. So next week, it'll be late for you again, but don't feel like you need to hang out here. I appreciate you being here, but you can always catch a replay. I fully understand. Sleep is incredibly important. And yes, Linux Mint is a giant pain, but it's the most Windows-like of the Linux installations. I have Ubuntu in my professional world, and I don't like it. I have Red Hat. I have a whole bunch of different Linux distributions, and I just wanted one that was the most Windows of all of them. It's also one of the least popular for obvious reasons. And yeah, this is why Linux will never go mainstream. Yes. It is not user-friendly. Everybody who is posting about Linux is an expert, and nothing anyone else has set up will work exactly like it does in your environment, just because there's so many different configurations, so many different drivers, so many different versions that are out there that things just do not work. Camera and... Cool. So there we go. And now I have something I can search for in the future. I also have some really good news to report. So I am going to do another iteration of the epilogue, the last chapter of my fourth novel, and then I'm going to start over. Excuse me. And then I'm going to start over from the beginning. So tonight, my plan is to go through a really quick iteration of the epilogue and then start things back over on chapter 1. I have everything booted up and ready to go. And I think it's time that we just sort of take it away. And then see how things go, I guess. So with that in mind, oh, Miss Page, hey, how's it going? Thank you for being here. Good to see you. And Ms. Blogger, hey, how's it going? I am working on the epilogue, the very last chapter of my fourth novel. Things kind of go off the rails, but essentially it starts off as a quest for more power, which sounds kind of selfish, but there are various reasons for how things work. And yeah, we might have some fun information coming up soon. Not book related, life related. But I want to wait for things to sort of settle down and get baselined out. But in the meantime, since I've been running late, I think we're going to just do 3 20-minute sprints. So with that in mind, this is Rufus, passed away in January, and I will see you all in 20 minutes. I'm going on mute now. All right. Thank you, everybody, for joining me for the first productivity sprint of the night. Let me check in. Huh. Nice, Miss Page. Yeah. I have the ultimate trifecta: Windows PC, iPad, and Android phone. Yep. I am similar. I have Android phones, no iPad. I have a Windows PC upstairs with Windows 11. This is Linux Mint. Those are my two personal laptops. Work is a messed up combination. I have a Mac. I have a lot of virtual machines that are Windows 11, Windows 10, some Linux in there, Kali, Ubuntu, a whole bunch of different things. All of them work slightly different. All of them are configured slightly different. Even the ones that are the same operating system are managed by different people, different programs. I wouldn't wish that on anyone. Ooh, good job, Richard, for being productive. So you got the iPad so you could publish Apple. Ooh, gotcha. That makes sense. Yeah, I have an iPad for testing, for performing testing with it. That is, and I have a couple of iPhones that are used for MFA, but are otherwise basically turned off because clients love throwing money at a problem. Yeah. Anyways, I don't really have a whole lot of iOS devices in my house. I prefer to have Android. I prefer to have the customization, even with Linux, even as everything wrong with it is absolutely my fault. There's no technical about it. It's either due to my lack of understanding, lack of willingness to learn, or just simply lack of normalizing everything, or my desire to update certain things and not others. It's very complicated, but essentially it's what I dealt with one of my Android devices where I need a specific version of Python to get some tools running. But in order to do that, I had to do some virtualization. And basically, because the versions never matched up as they needed to, it caused my device to just randomly crash through testing. And I had to just kind of deal with that until I got a new device. So that's where I'm at. I am about halfway done. Did I lose my progress? Oh, no, you're right. I'm about halfway done with the chapter. Yeah. And so I'm going to hopefully finish this out and then start back up on chapter 1 during the second sprint. And everything is broken. Oh man, you're thinking of maintaining extra devices just to stream multi-views for YouTube, but haven't committed yet. Yeah. I've done something like that in the past. Maintaining extra devices is exponentially complicated, depending on what you want to do with them. If it's just basic, well, honestly, even with basic, if all you're going to do is run a browser on here, I guess technically I have a few old games installed on this device, but for the most part, all I'm really using it for is the browser, because I like not having to bring my main computer from upstairs to down here for recordings. So really all I'm using this computer for is some writing and internet browsing. That, like I mentioned, that gets exponentially complicated because up until 10 minutes late, at 10 minutes after I intended to start with this live stream, I was still troubleshooting my microphone and camera access within LibreWolf on Linux Mint. Whew. Yeah, computers. Can't live with them. I wish we could live without them. I really do. The more I work in the tech industry, the more I just wish I were like a Luddite or something and just, I don't know, could find some way to live out in the woods, but that would also be miserable because I'm also not very woodsy and I need my conveniences, like just walking down the road to get some food. This morning I didn't feel like making breakfast, so I went to a local diner and just walked over there. And, you know, I do plenty of the tech stuff too. It's not only you. Huh. Nice Simpsons reference. Yeah, I grew up in the woods, but I have no desire to really forage for myself. I mean, I kind of draw the limit at cutting or cutting wood, chopping wood. That's the word I'm looking for. I mean, I'm in this house. This house is relatively small, but it is very easy to cool in the summer and heat in the winter. And I'm definitely glad that I don't have to drive 10 to 20 minutes to get to civilization, where I can basically just look outside and see civilization right there. Well, with that in mind, let's get started on the second sprint. So let's go. Oh, I love the cold. I am a huge fan. In fact, today it was 40 and I started my run with a long sleeve shirt on and ended up without long sleeve shirt or my undershirt. So I was running shirtless in the weather and passing people in like full on winter jackets. So fun times. All right. See y'all in 20. And welcome back. I finished up the final chapter of my book. I wanted to stay a little bit longer to finish it out, and that way I can cleanly start off on chapter 1, which means that the total words of my fourth novel are 87,811 words. Whew, that's quite a bit. And with that, I can get started on the first chapter again. But how are you all doing with that second sprint? Did you get anything fun done? Did you just sit there? Did you play some video games? Did you stare off into the void? What were you up to? Cool. Yeah, I'm going to blame that on Linux, I guess. So it's weird. I can see I don't know how to describe it, but the videos that I've queued up in the panel below here, they are going like Technicolor in my view panel. So I don't know if that's an issue with. I honestly don't know at this point. I'm just assuming everything wrong is Linux's fault. Hopefully it doesn't glitch out too badly. And, ooh, interesting. Several projects that are bubbling away. Well, I can't wait to hear about them. Also, at some point, I should probably zoom away because this looks like really close and on my face. So I might like just push it back or something. I don't know. There we go. That looks a little bit more reasonable. And I have a little bit more leg room. And whew. At some point, I promise I will get everything in order. Nope, too low. There we go. So that way I can lead good productivity sprints and work with you all. Ooh, was checking your coach's feedback to your admin. Interesting, which makes me sound way more sophisticated than I am because I hired her 3 weeks ago and she only works 2 hours a week. Yeah, that's fair. Nice. How are things going with your coach? Are you working on anything specific with your work, or are they helping you out with your? I don't know. You were talking about feedback to your admin, so I don't know if that's like helping you with your web page design or something along those lines. Nice. Dev editor comments. Yeah, I got to start finding some alpha readers. So I might be reaching out to you in the next week or two, trying to figure something out. Because I do technically have a draft 1 to go through. Yeah, so my draft 0 was me just writing it. I've gone through it completely one time. So I'm about to start on draft number 2. It's really cool, actually. So... Nope, no title yet, Richard. I don't have anything for that. I don't know. I'll have to figure it out. I was actually in the car for a long time this weekend, and I could have discussed it with Adriana to figure something out, but we just didn't. So something to do in the future. Let's see. Just finished building your first fun. Ooh, interesting. Now pitching collaborations. Yep. Yeah, I got the email. I will check it out later. I went right from work to here, so I didn't really do anything there, but I will work on that. Just got your author webpage done too. Nice. Huh. Yes, that is technically correct. Don't be ridiculous, Richard. There's no final yet because this is only draft 1. So it's not until we get to like draft 10 that we have final _final this time. I'm serious, which I think I do actually have somewhere in one of the original versions of book 1 where it's like, oh boy, the number of times I had not final versions of that book. I'm glad that at some point I just wiped everything clean. I'm using Reezy as my go-to gold standard and just sort of pulling everything down from there. And that is the final version. So whatever I have is based on Reezy. And I can name it whatever I like. Ooh, nice. Little 6BK. Cool, cool, cool. Hope that works out for you. Yeah, seriously. Because, okay. I'm going to keep just going through computer stuff because that's what I feel like talking about, apparently. So when I copy down from Reedsy into LibreOffice on Linux, it only happens on Linux Mint. If there are words that are misspelled, like some people's names, not everybody who is not a real word, but there are some people's names who are definitely not real words, those get edited out. So there's just like, there isn't even a blank space there. It's just the word is missing. So I have just some random S's in there. And I noticed that the word counts when doing that, copying it from Reedsy into LibreOffice, don't line up. So what I did was I have my upstairs computer, my main one, where I copied everything from Reedsy into here. And funnily enough, in the pre-show, or I guess at the start of Productivity Sprint 1, I was working through the version that I copied from here onto this local machine. And some of the changes, I was like, this line looks familiar. And I double checked back with what Reedsy had. And in fact, what I had fixed and edited in the local version, I had already fixed and revised in Reedsy. So I had to do a quick normalization. So I don't know why this version was wrong, even though every single time I go through, I wipe the folder clean and then copy and paste it in. So something really weird is going on because this isn't the first time that's happened where versions get messed up when they shouldn't. But that is a lot to say very little. And so let's get started on the third and final sprint. Yep. Oh no, I have multiple versions, but I'm saying I have multiple versions of like book 1 version 10 final _ edited _ mod _ final. This time I'm serious. And so that's one of the good things I did in transitioning from various computers is that I just wipe things clean and figure it's too much to manage. So hopefully the versions I have in Reezy are the accurate ones, and I made no changes since then. At least that's what I'm assuming. So with that in mind, let's get started on the third and final sprint of the night as I start off on Chapter 1, Version 2 of my unnamed Book 4. See you all in 20. And with that, we are done with the third productivity sprint. I have finished a full round of my epilogue. I am now starting revision number 2 for my fourth work in progress. I got about halfway done with chapter 1, so I'm going to start that over again tomorrow and pick things up from there. So with that in mind, I will see you all next Monday night at 6 p.m. Eastern time, and thank you for joining me. I'm glad to see some new faces out here, and if you're new here, say hi in the comments or share what you are working on, or just hang out. I whatever you want to do, however you want to share your thoughts about writing to write, about what you're working on, go for it. And with that, have a wonderful, wonderful Monday night. Remember, the week will only get better from here, and take care. Thank you for keeping me honest and for sticking with me in this journey as I write my fourth novel. I'm really excited to refine what I already have written, and thank you for helping me along in writing it and revising it, and now revising it again. I don't know where that journey will end, but at some point I'm going to publish my next book. Take care and have a wonderful, wonderful evening.